Okay, so we've come to that segment that we all love, that segment where we test ourselves, that segment where we see where we are in terms of progress. Progress with questions and answers, of course. So, with questions, a nice trick I always emphasize is to always have a pen and a paper and write down your answers because that will give you a better understanding of the question. It will give you also a better understanding of the answer as well. All right, so let's start off with a question. What is good nutrition? What is good nutrition? Could good nutrition be eating snacks every day? You wake up to a large bowl of chips, potato chips. You have that for your breakfast. Could that be constituted as good nutrition? Does good nutrition involve lunch that is made up of chocolates, just chocolates and sodas like Coca-Cola? Would that be good nutrition? No, absolutely not. Good nutrition, remember we said in the lessons that good nutrition involves the three main nutrients or the three main macronutrients. That's what good nutrition involves. We looked at an example of a bowl of bran flakes. We can also look at another example because you see with a question like this one, you can have a lot of fun with a question like this one because the examples are countless. There are countless of examples that you can use. We used the example of bran flakes. We can also use the example of oats. Remember, what is in oats? A method that I always use this method, it works for me, is I like to look at the ingredients. When you buy like a box of oats, you'll find that there are ingredients or there are specifications of what is contained in that box of oats. So for example, you'll find that there is a table of food labels. There's a table, and that table will show the amount of, for example, the amount of proteins per 100 grams. So it will show the amount of protein per 100 grams. It will show the amount of carbohydrates per 100 grams of the oats and the amount of fats per 100 grams. So whenever you find such a situation, you are able to see exactly how much of a particular quantity has in terms of those nutrients. So you'll find that maybe for 100 grams of oats, you have maybe something like 12 to 13 grams of protein in that 100 grams. So you will know that, okay, this bowl of oats I'm eating maybe has 13 grams, depending on the size, of course. If it's not 100 grams and if it's 50 grams, then you know that you're having half of the total amount. So that's just an example of the quantities. So you will know that this particular bowl of oats is good nutritionally for me because it has all the nutrients. It has the protein, it has the carbohydrates, it has the fats, and it also has the fiber. Remember, what do we need fiber for in the body? You remember what we need fiber for? We need fiber to help with digestion in the system. We need fiber because it will actually stay in the stomach longer. So it will release energy slowly. It will release energy slowly. So it won't be like a situation whereby you eat a simple carbohydrate like a box of chocolates, just normal chocolates. You eat that box, then you immediately feel hungry after that. Then you eat maybe a packet of potato chips, then you immediately feel hungry after that because these foods lack the necessary good nutrients. They lack the necessary good nutrients to sustain you for a long time. That's why they are snacks. You just snack on them in between meals or as treats later on, but never use them as the main meal because they don't have that kind of sustainability that you're looking for when you compare them to foods like oats and bran flakes and boiled eggs. Boiled eggs are another good example of a good source of protein. So when you look at good nutrition, and when you answer a question like this one, it's good to specify. You build a meal, okay? You build a meal within your answer. You build a meal, it's easy to do that. You can actually just build a meal. We started off with the oats, and this, for example, maybe is for breakfast. You start off with your oats. You know your oats have the fiber, they have the protein, they have the carbohydrates, and less fat as well. You have your oats, you have your boiled eggs on the side. That's another meal because you know that your boiled eggs have a very high source of protein. In fact, in terms of protein, eggs have one of the highest quantity of protein on earth from any type of food. Eggs are amongst the highest in terms of protein. So you have your oats so far, you have your eggs, then you can have your toast. If you like toast, I like toast, you like toast, we all like toast. You can have your toast on the side. You can toast your whole wheat bread. That's a nice option because you know that you have fiber, which is also part of good nutrition. Remember, we're still talking of good nutrition. So that will make up a nice breakfast for you. That will sustain you. You see, that kind of meal will sustain you for hours and hours. And you won't even find or have the need to snack in between. And if you do want to snack, then you can snack on fruits instead. You can snack on your bananas, you can snack on your apples, as opposed to snacking on junk food. So you're having healthy snacks in between the good breakfast. And then also when it comes to lunchtime, you find that you have a nice lunch as well, because that's part of good nutrition. You have your vegetables. So remember, you never leave out your vegetables. You have your vegetables, you have your meat. Maybe it's chicken, you have your chicken, or maybe you want turkey, or maybe you're having any other type, lamb, you're having any type of meat. You have your vegetables on the side, and you have your brown rice or your lentils, any kind of food that will give you that good nutrition and a balanced set of macronutrients. That's what you're aiming to have, instead of having junk food replacing that good nutrition. Our next question is another easy question. This question is, what are the three main macronutrients? What are the three main macronutrients? Macronutrients, so always pronounce it correctly, macronutrients. Now, when we look at macronutrients, we are looking at the three macronutrients that are in most foods. That's protein. What's the next one? Carbohydrates and fats. Now, you'll find that most foods usually have these macronutrients because they are very important, and part of having a balanced diet involves having those three macronutrients in the food. Remember the example that we mentioned of oats. We mentioned that when you want to identify the nutrients in a particular food item, you look at the food labels of that particular box. Most of these food labels are, in fact, most of these foods that you buy, even when you buy a packet of rice, you find that there is a food label on the packet of rice, and it will show you the protein content per 100 grams. It will show you the carbohydrate content, and it will also show you the fat content in that particular food item. As we mentioned with the oats, you'll find that there are also labels that will show you the amount. These amounts are there to help you so that you know, because a lot of people, you'll find that they have they're on a diet, And when a person is on a diet, they are watching exactly what they eat, and they do not want to exceed a certain amount of food per day. People usually go on diets for different reasons. You'll find that some people go on diets to gain weight. Think of people like rugby players. Rugby players are big, and we know that when you look, even when you Google the diet of a rugby player, you will find that a rugby player eats a lot, because when it comes to umbhoxo, that is rugby, when it comes to umbhoxo, you'll find that a lot of people, of the players rather, they have huge diets. So they eat a lot of amaqanda or eggs. They drink a lot of ubis, that's milk, and of course they drink amanzi, a lot of water. They eat many meals per day. They eat a lot of meals per day. You'll find that their meals usually, in fact, that is a good example of a balanced diet. Their meals usually have those three main nutrients. Their diets usually have the three main nutrients, and their diets will actually have huge quantities, because to be a rugby player, depending on the position, you'll find that the ones who play maybe the flanks, or you'll find that the props are much bigger than the fly halves or the wings, because the wings or the wingers have speed. They need speed, so they won't be as big as some of the guys at the back. The guys at the back usually, then they have bigger sizes. So that depends on the quantities of the foods that they eat. You'll find that even athletes, that's another example of a good, well-balanced diet. You'll find that top athletes like Wade van Niekerk or Usain Bolt, they have specialized diets that cater to the kind of sports that they partake in, and those are sprinters. So they'll have that kind of diet that is high in carbohydrates, because they'll need the energy. They'll have protein, because they'll need that protein for muscle recovery.
Did you hear about our amazing giveaway? We recognize that you have had a really difficult year, and we want you to excel in your exams. We are giving you all the lessons and, most importantly, special exam preparation to make sure you succeed. 50 Rand will give you your pass. No, not pass, but excellence in your exams. Yes, you're right, it's a giveaway for just 50 Rand for the first 1,000 registered. Jump onto our app to enroll or SMS 45139.